Well, welcome everyone to the author's Quill. I hope everyone's having a fabulous afternoon today. Hope life is taking good care of you and everyone's doing what it should be doing. And if you're not in the afternoon or in the morning or you're in the wee hours because you're over there in Europe or somewhere on the other side of the continent, I hope you're just having just an absolute great time. You know, if you're up this early in the morning, hey, look, I know I got to bed at 4 a.m., so I'm not hating. You know, John probably doesn't sleep. I think he's a freaking vampire. Anyway, everyone, John Goodwin. I'm telling you, I think he's a vampire. Because I see this guy, you know, I know he didn't get to bed till late because we're all working. I see him early in the morning. He's smiling and happy. I just want to slap his ass. I'm like, what the hell, man? It's, oh, I was talking about Writer's Future. I apologize, guys. Yes, it comes out of content sometimes because I've been doing it for a while now. But I hope everyone is really having a good time. You know, I was up late last night causing ruckus, but that's what life is all about. We have Cam joining us in a little while. Cam Collins will be joining us in a little while. We send him out the link. And McAfee, what's his first name? It went right out of my head. Oh, Patrick. I'm sorry, Patrick MacPhee. Yeah,
from Canada.
So it went right. See, because he's a Canadian. That's why. That's what it is. I've been on a Canadian rampage lately. Well, I have there's several Canadian hosts on this network. Are very nice people, very well-rounded people, much nicer than I am. Let's just say. Um, but anyway, I hope John's out there in LA. I'm out here. I'm actually on the Gulf Coast right now. It's beautiful,
Yeah,
sunny.
plus with some good news yesterday that came in. I posted it all over the place. Now, this book here, volume 40, last year's volume, won 2 gold awards yesterday on the International Book Award for best science fiction and best fantasy. So,
well, when they get finished with this, when they get finished with the website, I'm gonna have them make a section just so we can put all that stuff up. Well, no, because they do a lot of work for this, and it's a good book. It's a lot of fun to read. That's 41. I don't know if y'all can see it. I don't know where my camera's set up. That is 41 right there. Well, yeah. John's got his hand right there. It's 41 will be up there until 42 comes in. That's pretty much how that works.
The illustration that Cam did, we'll be talking about that. He does a very unique style of art he did that for the story, 30 Minutes or It's a Paradox. Anyway, so it's so I'm looking forward to next year too, but I'm expecting several more awards to come in for volume 40. Not that we're spoiled, but like we work hard to produce a very good product in each volume, and obviously all of our judges who are the cream of the crop of science fiction and fantasy.
Yes, they are
all there saying, these are the best new voices of science fiction and fantasy, and it really proves out. The reviews are always amazing, and then we win so many awards every year as the best new science fiction or fantasy anthology in those different categories. So we're very excited, to get those awards, which I just, I sent the social announcement that I have a press release going out first thing Monday morning announcing it. So we're excited about that.
Jackie, you can join us on any of the venues. Yes, come over to Rumble, come over to YouTube. We don't mind. I just want y'all off. I'm trying to wean you off my messenger. It's because it's become a thing where now my phone has become like, oh, let's talk to Joe. No, that's not what my phone is for, people. That's what the chat rooms are for. I'm just, I was talking with Michelle about this the other day. So if you hear me griping, that's what I'm griping about. But anyway, Cam is a great guy. I had a lot of fun talking to him. We did several interviews together. He was a lot of fun. Little camera shy, but other than that, a really good guy. He seems like he's well balanced all in all. He seems pretty happy guy when I was talking to him. A very talented guy. You can't, let's be honest, you can't get here unless you're talented.
Yeah.
This isn't for just anybody walking through the door. It's not a thing where you can just come in and say, hey, I got some money, let me in. That's not going to work. Even though I keep trying to get guests in for $1 million now. That's a thing. You give John $1 million, I'll get you a table, man. Maybe, sort of, kind of. We're trying anyway. How's that? It's it's a good thing. It's I always have a lot of fun when I go to so many talented people. And plus, I have learned more from the authors and illustrators. I would have had to go to school for 2 years to learn this much, maybe 3. And if we talk weeks, we're talking maybe 5 weeks combined, but not maybe 4.5 weeks. But still, really and truly, because I talked to friends of mine who have gone to school. My middle stepdaughter went to art school. I actually, paid for her to go to art school, and when we talk, she's like, "God, Joe, this is like my 3rd year. This is what we were talking about." I was like, well, and I tell her all the time, draw something. She won contests when she was young, but she just refuses. I don't know what it is with talented people don't want to submit. I think they're scared, and they keep telling them, go read. Everything's on the site. It's very clear. People, you go writersofthefuture.com. Everything you need to know about this contest is right there. Everything. Plus, there's some friendly people there as well. It's a very nice place to go hang out. John's like 36 or something. I lose track of him all. I know he looks like a baby, doesn't he? Maybe we can get him run for president next time around. Ooh, there we go. John for president. I got a new logo. Man, we still got a couple of years.
President Galaxy Press, President of Author Services. I'm fine with that.
Hey, it's promotions are promotions. Let's take it for what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely not political.
But just he's not really, guys. He's not. I try to get him talking about it all the time. He's like, shut up, Joe, leave me alone. It's what you need to go is just submit. That's all I can tell you.
Yep.
People write to me all the time, tell me a bunch of BS. Submit. It's not that hard.
Now, the
No,
worst that's
just
going to happen is you'll get an email saying, "Thank you very much. Please submit again." That's the worst. You're not going to get anybody hating you or shaming you or saying, quit, give up. That's so not what the contest is about.
no,
When
it's
Hubbard
not.
created this contest in '83, it was just to provide, an opportunity for writers, and then a few years later for artists to have their work seen and acknowledged, because it's out there. There's so many people willing to chop you and cut you, and that's not what this contest is about. So it's hard for people to think that something can be just altruistic. It's like you don't pay anything for the contest. You don't pay for anything for any of the different things on risetofuture.com. If you go to galaxypress.com, you can pay for the book, but there's nothing on risetofuture.com that you can pay for, because it's all free. Everything on the forum, the workshop, the podcast, entering the writer contest, illustrator contest, it's all just designed to help the aspiring writer and artist. And that's what it does. And I'm really excited. This year we'll be doing a few more promotions later on, but volume 42 is the year that we finally break 1,000 on winners. So
That's a lot of winners.
Yeah, that's a lot of people that have been recognized as winners over the 42 years. And what's amazing is, like, we have no say on who these people are that win. It's like we have no idea what their personality's like, if they're good people, if they're not so good people, if they're anything. It's just they're good artists and they're good writers, and that's all that matters. So that's why I don't get involved in anything else, because as soon as I start taking a partisan side or getting something religious or anything like that, then someone's going to use that to oppose or to make a big stink about something else. So I don't get into politics. I have my own opinions on stuff, but I don't share that on social media. I definitely don't share it on radio. And it makes life simpler that way too, because that's all I'm interested in. Is if you're an aspiring writer, whether you're hard right, hard left, moderate right, moderate left, centralist, doesn't matter. If you can write, if you can do art, then
that's the truth.
Love you.
And you know what I find interesting about this? So 5 groups I've been with, I have not really heard any of them talk about politics.
Yeah.
I mean, none, especially, and we were in election year last year, and still it seemed to be, and then we were right after an election. You know what? There was no, there was a lot of let's talk about art, and there's a lot of let's talk about being an author, but I got to say, that's a nice thing. And that really comes off from y'all, because you're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. They're not talking about it. Yeah. It seems to work out really good. Well, no, Johnny, I'm pressed when I'm there, so I don't talk about politics at all when I'm there. No.
Yeah,
I'm really there to know who they are.
Yeah. So the thing on it is what they've experienced too is that they've not been in an environment where they're surrounded by like-minded people, other artists, other writers, and so they're just like kids in candy shops. They're just going there. And they're able to talk with their heroes, the writers that they've been reading since they were, first able to read, and artists that they've been inspired to try to replicate. So for them, it's about the art, and it's for 1 week that they're able to do something they've never been able to do before. They can go back to their politics and stuff. And so it's funny because you got people that are ultra liberal on sex and ultra conservative on sex. That doesn't come into play at all, which is probably the only field where that occurs. Because in Hollywood, it is just such a dichotomy. But at Writers and Illustrators of the Future, it's all about the art, all about the writing. And so everybody just finds that common ground, and it's so wonderful.
It is. It really is. I mean, there's a lot of emotions there now, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, it's when they meet their heroes or they hear things. I mean, or they're learning things. It's a very emotional experience, and it's a very good experience. I'm not trying to make it out like it's not. It's a fabulous. Everybody I've talked to has had a great time. I talk to these people before they go, while they're there, and after they leave, and so does John. So we have a really, really good idea of what the entire experiences were. And what makes that nice is so do you, because we're doing it live on the air. So you're hearing, what do you mean, Catherine? No, I don't work for them. No, that's not how it works. Anyway, I work for me. So what you get when you're listening to me, so John and them get me a suite, which is very nice of them. And then I bring them into the suite and we talk to them there. There's none. What are you talking about? You've never seen any of Writers of the Future staff in any of my interviews. Unless I'm interviewing them personally, but you've never seen no, that's not how that works. Sorry, my friend. What judges? Yes, because I'm interviewing judges because judges are talking to the people. Yes. And I want to know how they feel about each year's batch of people. Like this year, if you go back, if you've listened to the interviews since the event, you will hear all of us, all the judges and all the press that was working there say the same thing. This was a very upbeat crowd. These people were ambitious. Everybody. Some crowds you get 2 or 3. This is all of them. All of them. Even the ones that said they were inverted, no, really weren't even inverted. They were extroverted. I mean, I was very impressed with this crowd. I was very happy too, because it makes my life and John's life and anybody who's doing interviews life easier.
Yeah.
Because they want to talk. And some of them want to talk more than others. That's every year. But in this particular group, no, there's some that can out talk me. I'm just warning y'all ahead of time. It's there's a couple of them, no, but guys, you're missing out. You just if you're not catching these interviews, this is a slice into somebody from beginning to middle, from beginning to the event until after the event. You know, it's a couple of months now, and you get to sense these people, see who these people are, because these are the people. If you're a sci-fi, fantasy, or anywhere in these genres, these are the people who are going to be making the books you're going to be reading or the movies you're going to be watching. And I mean, it's well worth knowing who they are. Well, it's like any hero book. You know, what you're saying is, if you look at these guys today, if you go back 50 years, these are the people who were writing back then.
Yeah.
Oh yes, because I forget all their names. But Johnny, you know I don't read. I listen or watch. That's no. Well, I have to read some things because I just have to, because it's part of it. Like the book, I usually read it 3 times before I talk, because I'm old and I forget crap. That's why I read it 3 times. Smart ass. No, really. I read it when John sends it to me. I usually take about a week reading it. And then I do one of those. The airplane trip's only like 3.5 hours. I read the whole damn thing. And then, and then I read it. I'll be reading it while I'm in LA, because I already got an idea of who I want to interview first from the first batch of interviews that Carmen set up. I already have a good idea of who I want to talk to. And usually I'll grab them the first couple of days, which is easier anyway. The closer we get to the gala, the harder it is to get interviews, because everybody's like, whoosh. And then the authors on the 24-hour story day, unless they've done it early, you're not getting any interviews. No, it's a lot of fun. And all of these people are sincere. You know, it's funny because John was talking about personalities, but I don't know if they're just lucky, because, you know, I've dealt with a lot of crowds over the years doing interviews, and I don't want to jinx this, but I mean, really and truly, personality wise, if there's a lot of quirks, they're keeping them to themselves. I don't know.
One thing I make very clear is that all the judges are here because they want to help them. And for most of these people, they've been entering the contest for a while. There's maybe a handful of jerks over the years, which is hardly anything, you know, but for the most part, the people that they've truly been striving for this as an objective to win Writers of the Future. It is like the top bar of science fiction fantasy competitions. And the judges who participate all agree, and they all say that as well. They all forward that, you know, as their reality about the competition as well. So by the time a person wins, every now and then I only entered once, but they're so good. They're not in the game of just being weird, you know. Yeah. So like I said, it does come up, but it's so rare that I'm just, you know, but when we brief people as they're going through that week-long workshop, we make it very clear, look at, you know, the judges are here to help you. They're here for you because they want to help you pay forward to the next generation. They like good writing. So they don't really get into trying to be nasty. And I say, look at, you know, anything you say, if you're a jerk about this stuff in any way, That's what's being recorded. And anybody that's going to be watching you on the internet is going to see that. And anybody that's interested in hiring somebody will see that too. And you won't get hired, because if that's how you are with somebody who's so gracious to spend at least $10,000 per person, at least, to get them with the contest judging, the flight, the hotel, the awards event.
And they put you up in a nice hotel. They just they don't
nice
cheap you out. I mean,
here.
guys, you're a half a block from Hollywood Boulevard. I mean, you're in the middle of every damn thing.
Yeah.
You're not very far from Arthur Services, which is a beautiful building down the street. I mean, and everything you need is right there. I mean, food, if you want to go food, you want to go shopping, everything's right there. It's convenient. And what I like about it, and somebody actually thought about this, and I know this because, I've been with them a little while now. The way it's set up is everything is there. Now, if you want to go explore in LA, it's right there. And you're in Hollywood, if you want to go explore and go see the names, and they're all right there. But the mall's there, and there's several places to eat in the mall, along with several coffee shops. And if you cut through the mall and you come up on the front and the other side, there's more places to eat up there, more places. And then not far within a block, there's more places to eat. So, I mean, pretty much everything you need for that week is right there. It makes you not, because you really don't want to waste time while you're there. There's a lot going on. Yeah. And you really want to conserve your time. It's just
right behind me here on this window. I'm on the 5th floor of my building right now, and right behind me is Hollywood Boulevard. And that way, I'm pointing that way, about almost a block, not quite a block, is the Chinese Theater, the Mann's Chinese Theater, the famous theater. And another half a block beyond that is where they have the Oscars every year. So this really is the heart of Hollywood, where we are. And so the winners are walking around, they're seeing, the Walk of Fame there. They're able to look there and see that. But they're, like Joe was saying, there's so many great restaurants. And the thing too is what we've learned is over the years, because you've got all income brackets also on winners. You get some people where it's their second career and they've already got a big bank roll and they're doing fine, so they can go out and afford nice dinners. But others are aspiring artists and they don't have any money. So one thing we did starting half a dozen years or so ago was we started putting all types of snacks and chips and granola and eggs and stuff like that out, so that if somebody wants to get some food because they can't afford it, because it's not cheap in California, definitely not cheap in Hollywood, then they have food. We had one thing, that sparked it several years ago. So, okay, that's never going to happen again, where we thought somebody was sick, but he just hadn't eaten for 2 days. He was totally broke. So we then fed him, and then just made sure from that point forward, we always make sure there's plenty of food for all the winners. So no matter what, and there's no shame, we just take whatever you guys want and we just keep it full. And that's just because we want to celebrate the arts. We're not there to have attention distracted by, being hungry, being tired. Well, sometimes people are tired because.
Well, yeah. Well, they run a lot. I mean, it's
definitely make sure everybody's well fed. And
I mean, you run nonstop when you're there, but that's part of the charm and part of the fun. It really is.
Yeah, it's exciting.
What do you mean, Gene? I drink a lot of iced tea when I'm there. Yes, I do. I just drink a lot of tea. I try to stay away from Cokes, but I will. It's not that I won't drink one. But like I said, everything you can want's there. And then there's always LobbyCon, which we talked about last week. It's a good place to relax and talk. To be honest with y'all, the judges really don't drink. Maybe one or two, but other than that, they really don't. So when they're usually out there talking with the winners, especially when they're talking with the winners, the majority of them will be drinking iced tea or something else, Shirley Temple, something goofy. I'm serious. Y'all think I play with y'all.
Palmer is my main
just Coca-Cola, but I mean, they're not, they're there because they're really there. I know I say this a lot because I don't think it really sinks into everybody's head. Those judges are there for them. Those judges have lives. They have careers. They could be doing any damn thing they want to be doing. They don't have to be there. It's just they're there and they take care. And I mean, look, they go out of their way to help people. And I've seen on both sides, on authors and illustrators. They're just a good group of people. I know quite a few of the judges pretty well these days. Yes, I know. I know at least 5 of them. I'd say personally, pretty well, and uh, you can talk to any of them. Just walk up and talk to them. And I always tell them the same thing. If I'm there, you see me, and somebody you want to talk to, you just tap me on the shoulder. I'll introduce you. John will too. I mean, all of us will. It's not because we want you to talk to them, and the judges want you to talk to them. If not, they're going to be bored just sitting around or eating and getting fat, one or the other. We don't want that going on. We keep them busy. No, they're a great group of people. So far, John has introduced me to a lot of judges, and so far, everyone I met has been generally a nice person. Now, I can't say what they do when they're at home. You know, I can't speak for that. But when they're there, I can speak that they're generally, well, they might be a little sharp with you if you're hard headed, but other than that, that's part of it. Yes. Yes. When you ask questions and the judge looking at you like, really? Did you really ask me that question? Actually, they're really good people. If you can win, I would get there. And I mean, you can submit 4 times a year, whether you're an illustrator or author. So just submit till you win. And they tell you if you're getting better. I mean, that's one of the nice things about it. You might get honorable mention, which, by the way, I don't like honorable mentions, but y'all probably do. John knows why I'm on this evil honorable mention kick right now. But
the thing about honorable mentions, and we have a lot of entries. There's a lot of entries that come in. So it's a way, which is a problem that writers have because you're by yourself writing away. And how do you know if you're getting better? You know, so this is a way when you submit a short story, if it comes back saying, thank you, please resubmit. Okay, so you got some work to do. But then when you get an honorable mention, you're in the top 10 percentile and you know that, okay, there's hope, you know, and then you keep on getting honorable mentions and then you can get a silver honorable mention, which is the next level up. And then you get to finalist status and then semifinalist and finalist and then a winner. So when you do these things, you work yourself up. And quite often, people will disqualify themselves because they start selling professionally. Because now, as they work themselves up the rank of writers of the future, they just get better and better. Frequently, somebody publishes a book, and they say in their bio, "I won an honorable mention in Writers of the Future." So it's an honorable mention isn't a reject; it's an actual.
No, it's a good thing. Yeah, I'm not hating. It's a good thing. Yeah, Claire, it's enough to give you a heart attack. I agree. Well, there's a lot going on. I mean, there really is. And then once you get there, you're there. They're going to pick you up at the airport. They're going to bring you to the hotel. They're going to throw you in the hotel room, and away you go. And you're going to learn all kind of interesting stuff while you're there. And if you've never been to LA, you get a free freaking trip to LA. That's pretty good in itself. I've been with John and them, and times I was in the military. I've been in LA about 22, 23 times for different reasons. Well, I've been out there filming too for goofy sci-fi stuff. So yeah, it just depends what you want to ask, what you're talking about. All I can say is I would submit. If I had any talent at all, knowing what I know, I would submit. Yes, I would submit. No, I would. If I won, I would tell them to give it to somebody else, but I would still submit. But John knows I draw a crooked stick man, so we're not going there. Matter of fact, Echo was sitting there one day. We were sitting eating, and I was drawing a sticker, and she starts laughing. She's just like, "You weren't lying. You can't draw." So I told you it's crooked. It's a crooked. And as much as I actually like to dictate and write stuff, I'm just not good at it. I my brain doesn't work right for it. It's like I write and then I miss a whole paragraph, and then I write and then by the time you come back and try to fix it, you just it's enough to make you want to jump off a bridge. But I like learning about it still because I have a lot of friends that write. I know a lot of writers and authors. Probably on this particular network, I've probably talked to more than 1,000 of them or more in the last 26 years. So I enjoy it. And thanks to John and him, I actually know what the hell I'm talking about. Well, no, before I was faking it. Well, because, when we do a lot of authors, I can't read every book. He can because him and my wife are Mr. Speed readers. If it's something I want to know about, but I'm too busy, I'll give it to Linda and ask her to read it. Yeah, give me some cliff notes to make
I've got
make
the
my job
podcast,
easier.
which was just on, an hour ago?
Yeah, just an hour ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I interview a lot of authors, but I won't interview an author unless I've read one of their books. So I'm having to read a lot because it makes a difference, a big difference, when I'm able to talk to an author
It does.
about their book and like, well, you talked about this, or this is the type of magic you used, or your character's like this. Is that what you?
And
really
they like that.
Yeah.
And it's really flattering to the author that you do it. And I've told them when I talk to them about it all the time, I always tell people the same thing. I said, look, when a podcaster or a radio or TV guy said, well, I read your book, we'll question them on it. Well, how'd you like this part? Or how'd you like that part? Or make some shit up and say, how'd you like that part? And see what they got to say. Because it's always good to put your interviewer on the back foot. It makes it easier for you. I know, because I'm honest. I just tell people, no, I didn't read it. Tell me about it. That's what you're here for anyway. Tell me about your damn book. So, but illustrators are different because we can bring their artwork up on the screen and you can see it for yourselves. Yeah. Matter of fact, sometimes you can purchase it because sometimes they have it for sale. But for authors, they've got to sell the story without giving the story away. That's not always an easy thing to do, depending on the story. I mean, some of them are. There have been stories, like, who was it last year? Oh, now I can't remember the damn story. It was a good story. It pops in your mind pretty quickly. It's a time travel story.
Last year? In volume
41? Oh, well, 41, yeah. This technically this year.
Well, there's the time travel this year is the one that was the 30 minutes or it's the paradox. Yeah, the one where it's the his brother, himself, then he has all the different versions of himself. That one?
No, I don't know if that was it. And then there's the one
Slipstone where he has that rock that he was.
Yeah, I think it was the second one, and there was the one with the self-driving cars.
ASCII.
Yes. So those two stories, those two stories pop right out. Once you've read them once or twice, they'll stick in your head. My brain's dead because I didn't get any sleep last night, but it's they're good stories. But it's the same thing with last year. There's going to be a couple stories like that, and then of course there's death and a tax man. That's 3 years ago. That still sticks in my damn head because it was funny.
He's done 2 novels since then.
Yes, I know, and so that's the thing, guys. So, some of these stories, you know, you're going to keep in. They're going to stay in your head. It's going to be entertaining when you're talking to them about it. It's and they're good, and it doesn't take a million years to read one of them. Now they're doing novels, but when you have this one, you can read through this. I mean, if you're a good reader, 3 to 5 hours, you can read this whole book because of the way it's put together. It's yes, this is the one I'm giving away. I know it's getting beat up. Shut up. You know, you heard me. Shut up. Yes, well, just consider a character. How's that? And,
now, I've got a box on its way to you right now, too, with 5 copies of volume 41 and 5 copies of Battlefield Earth, because next weekend is Father's Day. So set it up so we can do giveaways for Father's Day. So
hold on, I apologize for interrupting you, John. You sneaky SOBs. You host. I busted all y'all. So remember we were talking. No, I'm not. And I told y'all that it wasn't going to happen. So people who work for the station are not eligible for gifts. Sorry, guys, you're not. So you remember I told you I had 5 emails for you last week? I recognized all 5 emails when I went through them. Really? I wrote them back. And I said, you're not eligible for your. I said, get your damn sister to write in or something, but you're not eligible. Guys, no, if you work for the network, you're not eligible. I'm sorry. I will get you stuff. I do. And like every now and then, Maliva will give me a discount on something. And you can get discounts like that. That's how Jay got the big box set, which I thought I had one. I guess I don't. But anyway.
For Writers of the Future?
Yeah, the Writers of the Future box. What is it? Yeah, the 10 book collection. Yeah, and that's how he got his. He got it we had done a deal with him, and he got it for like half off. So I mean, it's a good deal. It was like $80 or something. It was cheap, guys. Yeah. And what came with the artwork? I mean, it was really nice box done, and it was nice. No, we had 3 of them. Those got given away because y'all are stingy. You know what? But I'm not going to go there because I love you people. I'm nice to the people in the Author's Quill. You should come listen to me tonight when I'm talking to people in the chat. I'm not nice to them. And I think they like the abuse. No, I don't know what happened to Cam. I sent him the thing 3 times. He's a little shy sometimes. So that might be what it is.
I'll write
He's
to
a
Carmen and say, "Where's Cam?"
he's a nice guy, but he's a little shy sometimes. Oh, you like Fred? Yeah, well, he's on Friday. It's a whole different topic. Well, he's showing the world how to get ahead, is what he's doing. Yes, we got a lot of stuff on the network. Actually, if it stays on its current course, because Michelle is on crazy, let's add shows to the network. I've added two myself. She's added like 6 in the last month, and we have 2 more coming on. So we're getting close to the split point. Yes. No, we'll keep you apprised. But matter of fact, we were talking about it the day before yesterday, Michelle and I was talking with one of my assistants and one of her assistants about how it's going to be done. Yes, it ought to be a nightmare, but it'll be fun because this show will be in a different bracket, and it may end up in a better time slot than it's in. So the other one, a John show, because we have more to choose from. The reason John and I are on Saturday with Echo was simply the rest of the station is filled up, and we wanted to at least have a slot where we could have some good listeners. His show does almost 3 million listeners for 1 hour. That's almost unheard of. Sometimes I wonder if he's dancing naked or something. I mean, I'm just wondering. No, I'm serious. Think about it. He's doing almost 3 hours. We're doing 3 million on this is a 2-hour show, usually with 2 to 4 guests. He's doing a 1 hour show. No, guys, it's tough. Trust me, I've done 1 hour show. It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, it's an easy thing to do, but it's not an easy thing to build numbers on. And he's the opening show. I just, we keep trying to put somebody in front of him, but Michelle, no, that's not right for that show. She moves him. So I don't argue with the boss. She's the boss. No, I don't argue with her. I've been telling everybody to use Rumble because I'm trying to get people used to Rumble. But I mean, if you want to use YouTube, you can. I see people on YouTube right now.
Is the YouTube, is it United Public Radio Network YouTube or?
Yeah, it's no, on the YouTube it's UFO Paranormal Radio. That's the easy one to find. The other one is Gods. It's UFOs, Gods, and Extraterrestrials. It never shows up if you type it, and don't ask me why. It's even though it's got close to 1,000 people on it now, you can't find it. It I think because of the title, it just splits it all over YouTube.
Yeah.
But UFO Paranormal Radio, because it's been around a long time, you can find pretty easy. Actually, once we split, it'll end up being on like all your search engines. It'll be the first 2 or 3 pages. It always has been before that. The only reason it's not is we switched it to United Public Radio. Yeah. Well, because I wanted to talk to people other than ghosties and aliens. Even though I like ghosties and aliens, this kind of show doesn't fit into that. A lot of the other shows don't fit into that. It's hard to talk to politicians when you do that. And I think John's favorite person, Miss Bass, is going to get me an interview with Mr. Newsom, who I think is trying to turn into a freaking conservative. Anyway, we can't. We're not talking about that anymore. But it's just too funny. It's almost like comedy. Christopher, my favorite book. I don't know if I have a favorite book. I don't. You know what? Right now would be Mission Earth because that's what I just got through reading and I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun reading it. Well, technically it was an audio book, but still,
it's a book. You need more audiobooks count as reading books.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
Abridged.
After that, my second would be War of the Worlds, the original, because I like the original. I like to listen and watch the original version because it always cracks me up that people were panicking over that. Well, I mean, if you were listening to it, I could see why you were panicking. It sounded like it was whoever did it did a good job on it. Yes, especially back in the day. Today, it would be a little harder to panic us all unless it was in real tech. But yeah, maybe some explosions here and there. Who knows? That's Carolyn's show. Yeah, she comes on and joins us on the weekends. The chat's different. Chat's not really a political show. Friday night's really politics. The chat, we may talk politics, but usually it's well, we can't say here what it usually is, but it's insanity is what it is. We talk about whatever the audience wants to talk about. That's the truth of it. we're getting ready to hit Patrick up in a minute. It's Patrick MacPhee. Oh, I wanted to say something else there for a minute. What do you mean? Can you visit John when you're in LA? Well, I'll tell you what. I'll send you his email, or I'll send you the other email, and you can email him. And if he's got time, or maybe he will, because I don't know. You might be an axe murderer. You can't be going around. You know what? I might have to vet you because John's a friend of mine. I just don't trust anybody. I'm not real trusted. He's more trusted than I am by far. Yes, he's a nicer guy than I am. Yes. And he's out there in LA, and I'm down here in the South where it's all peaceful and nice and quiet. You heard that last night. We're inviting people down here because y'all are getting screwed. Yes, y'all are, but we can't talk about that here either. It's Canada. Canadians love to read. Anytime we have free books up, I get people from Canada and Utah. Them people are freaks out there. Oh my God! You know what? I have met a lot of people in Utah. I've been out to Utah quite a few times, and I've met quite a few people in Utah. And I bet you there's nobody's house you walk in Utah, they don't have books in their house. Oh, there's probably a lot of sci-fi out there too, but there's probably just a lot of everyday other books. They're probably the book reading capital in the United States. California is too busy to read a book. I don't even know how John does it. There's something always going on out there. Well, no.
Said that Cam hasn't gotten his link yet, so I just forwarded it to Carm for him to send to Cam. I don't know.
Well, that's crazy since I sent it to him 3 times.
No,
I'm about to get on Carm and ask him what's his email he gave me.
Well, I just forwarded it to Carm so he could send it to him.
Okay, that's cool. There goes my sinuses, man. Stop. Oh, there's Cam right there.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, now we can. We had to bring you in a queue so we could hear you. Okay, who is this cute person up here on your screen?
Oh, what the picture?
The little artwork.
The devil.
Yeah, no, it's a picture I made. It's a little sprite. Yeah, sorry. The link I got to join this was sent to my spam folder. I was texting away. I've been waiting for like an hour.
That bites. Yeah, because I sent it 2 other times, but I guess that's where I was sending it to.
Yeah.
That bites.
I was worried that it was forgotten. I'm like, oh no.
No, we don't ever forget anybody. That's
so we've been talking all about you. We've been showing you art.
Oh,
we're having a grand old time all about Cam, but
yes,
the only thing we were missing was Cam.
Yes. It's so how you been, man, since the big event? You doing good? Life's treating you okay?
Yeah, I know, pretty good. It just keeps on going. I've been working on there's the book right there's the illustration right there.
Looks good too.
Yeah,
I've been trying to color that illustration I did while I was actually at the workshops, but I've been doing more books. I've been doing comics and books and things like that. So
that's cool.
Commissions. Yeah, it just kind of just keeps moving on. So
that's good. You want to be busy.
Really busy with your art.
Yeah.
Now, when you're rich and famous, remember John and I now, okay?
Oh no, I probably can't forget. It was one of the best weeks of my life. Honestly, it was really fun. I liked it. It was good.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So how you made some friends there?
When you're rich and famous, don't forget us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you're rich and famous, don't forget who we are because we're gonna want to interview for sure. We're like, can't remember, man. So did you make some new friends there? Yeah. Any lifelong buddies?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone is nice. I have to think about if I made any super close friends. I mean, I'd call them friends. Yeah, we're all in like a little group
acquaintances,
chat. Yeah, acquaintances. Yeah,
that might be a better word, but
a lot of the winners, when I go back to past years, they're still in regular, especially since the internet. They're all in regular communication, and they're whatever chat was the thing at the time that they became winners. Prior to the internet, there really wasn't email, so they do phone or letters.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then once the internet came in, they could email each other. Then it got to be more of easier to maintain. But the earlier school was conventions, and so they'd always see each other at conventions, and that was a big way to keep connected. But now you've got so many other opportunities to stay connected with your mates.
Yeah, no, because even during the week they were talking about all these different conventions like Dragon Con or what's that one in Northeast that they're talking about? There's a bunch.
Well,
I'm
there's
very
there's New
oh,
York Comic Con, and then
right.
there's various art shows too. There's all types of shows that you can do that to get yourself known, because part of the thing,
Yeah.
with art, I know I've got that from both Echo and from other past winners. They do the conventions because they then can sell, to customers. They got clients, right, that come there and buy their prints or buy their paintings. And then every year when they come back, okay, what do you got now? And they have repeat customers.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with like zine fests, things like
Yeah.
that, where you like sell self-published little books and things like that. That's usually what I've been doing.
Yeah.
But I do want to get into the bigger types of conventions. And I had it all set up to go to Dragon Con this year, and I found myself I'm not able to, unfortunately.
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
Emily
it's
said she
fine.
saw the email, said, "Oh, Cam's not going to be able to make it." I said, "Oh,
Yeah.
bummer."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun at Dragon Con. It's a little crazy, but it's definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's every con,
Well, that's
there's
true.
always a bit wild.
But the thing that's really good about Dragon Con and FanX Salt Lake is that
huge.
they're huge, but both of the owners have been keynote speakers at Writers of the Future, so they know the importance and value of Writers of the Future and Illustrators of the Future. So at Dragon Con, we get a free table. They give us a free booth to promote the contest. And this year we've got, I think, 6 illustrators, which are going to be.
Yeah, it should be like almost everyone.
Yeah, and then we have our table, our booth in the main hall. So we've got 2 booths, and so we do a lot to promote the contest there. And I said that the owners are very appreciative and supportive of the contest because they see what it does, and there's so few things out there that are just for the sake of the artist. There's no strings attached. When you entered the contest, it didn't cost you anything. You were flown out, didn't cost you anything. Nobody's asked for anything as a result. Now that you're a winner, just we only ask that you don't forget us when you get famous, but otherwise that's all. So that's the contest, and there's nothing else like that. And so it's so unbelievable. Martin Shoemaker, who was a winner back in volume 30 or 31, couldn't believe it, and then when he came back the following year, we remembered him in his story, and he couldn't believe that. And so now he's just like a lifelong supporter, because there really isn't any strings attached. That's what Elmer Hubbard wanted to create, and that's what he did. And and so it's a good thing, and so hopefully your career really takes off, because you do good art, and so giving you a platform to be able to introduce you and to get that, like I sometimes would joke at the various times when I'd speak, I'd cut my hands together and throw it out there and go, fly, for the artist to be able, and the artist to be able to, and the writers to be able to succeed is so important.
It is. Well, we all want to see you succeed. We all want to see you out there.
Thank you.
I want to be walking around through a gallery and say, I recognize that name.
Exactly. I recognize that art style.
Yes.
Go out and you have your connections. You have people that know you and see you, and they see your art, and then you, from your own word of mouth, can help enter the contest. You too could be a winner. And so, just from the very beginning, way back when we had some of the greats of fan art and of Pulp Fiction art were the original judges. They wanted to pay it forward so they can continue the arts. And right now it's even more important with what's happening with AI, to be able to support the artists and to give them a venue.
Evil AI.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, because we have artists trying to submit AI as their art. And so Echo and Joni spend a lot of time looking to make sure that it really is their art and not AI art. Because it defeats the purpose of what the contest is.
Yes, it does. I have busted a lot of. I've been ever since that weird appearance of that thing in Miami. I've been doing a lot of art busting for different police departments.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, there was some. I don't want to get into it too much, but
Okay.
so in Miami, all of a sudden one afternoon, 50 cop cars showed up at a mall. So first off, they said there's this thing, and that's how they described it, as some weird thing going through the middle of the mall. And they had these AI photos of it. And then they had another thing outside that apparently was close to 50 foot tall. So I was like, no way. But the one inside, right off the bat, you noticed the hands weren't right, the feet weren't right on this thing, even though it could have been a creature. But more importantly, there was people on the upstairs balcony, none of which were panicking or taking out their phone and taking pictures. Which, come on, that's pretty much a given. But the art itself, when we got to the piece outside, you could just tell it was made by AI. It doesn't. There's certain little things in AI now that it's not the best with colors. It's getting better, but it's not the best with color. But also, especially with anything dealing with human hands or faces, it has little problems with eyes and stuff. And when you've been watching it for a while, you start noticing them. Even though a lot of people will see it, go, well, that looks pretty good. I said, yeah. But when you really look down, especially at the pupil or something, it's I don't know how to explain it. Like patterns.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's okay. It's going to get better and better, right? Like the people who make it, they want it to get better, and it will get to a point where it does get everything super accurate. But the main difference for me is that, and I think, when you're talking about when you see it, you kind of notice it regardless. There's something off about it, right? I would say when you look at AI art, the more you look at it, the worse it gets, right? It just kind of decays. It's like this really weird art form where it just gets worse and worse over time because it's constantly evolving But human artwork, every time you look at it, you actually get more insight into the artist, into the piece you're looking at. Right?
And that's an excellent point. Like if you're painting little curves into a picture, eventually they're not all going to be perfect. Some might be a little longer, but when it comes to AI, that's not true. All of them are going to be perfect. Every circle, every cut, every C, everything's going to be perfect. So when you start looking at that, you realize it's like taking one of those tests they took when I took my ASVAB test for the Navy, how many O's and C's they are. It's just all going to look too perfect. And eventually you'll even notice that you'll be like, well, real artists are just not that talented. They're talented like that, but they're not. That would take so much meticulous time to make sure everyone was perfect. I just don't see most artists doing that.
Well, the thing about art too is it invites participation from the audience. And so you take a look at the illustrations that are in, like in this book here, you take a look at them and go like, wow, they communicate, like Jordan's piece here. So you look at it, like there's so many pieces to it, and looking at your art as well, Cam, it's just the way it ties in. It's the originality is a factor that made you a winner, and that's creativity and originality, which is what's really important in winning the Illustrators of the Future contest. And so you're not going to see something like that, what you did there with AI. You can scan it in, and the AI can output that. But to come up with that and to create that, you see, well, maybe in however many years you'll be able to do that. But then the human eye, the human spirit, that can create is always going to be one step ahead. And that book the story that was in the book this year, where at the very end, the toughest ranger, where where he said, okay, well, the one thing that the ranger, the robot ranger didn't have was a sixth sense. It couldn't perceive that. It could only handle, what it was able to do with its scans and stuff. It couldn't perceive that there was some other person on the other side that it couldn't register. It wasn't be a heat signature or anything else because it was hidden where it couldn't be sensed. And so that's the thing too you're going to find with art. It's like you're always going to be the artist. The true artist is always going to be one step ahead. I'm a believer of that. And you're going to have the person that likes, I'm totally fine on buying my my print of Bosch, Hieronymus Bosch. But when I was in college, that's what I could afford. So I had the triptych up in my college room.
Hmm.
But now that I'm older, I'm not interested in owning a copy. I'm going to be wanting to have the real thing. And so, finding that I can go and print out a print of, some famous artist, that wouldn't go up on my wall. I'm just not going to do that. I want something that's actually original. So that's something I think is also important that people realize that's not going to go away. You're always going to have that audience that wants the real thing.
I see you down there, Patrick. It's I don't know. It all gets strange. AI always bothers me. But it's like when you ask it to compile, okay, do this piece as you stack, like artists do a lot of times, just a little piece, they do a little piece, they do a little piece, they mess up a little piece. Well, you don't want to see all of that stuff. Well, AI is not going to be able to produce that. Well, they're not going to make it. They're just going to give you the finished product up front. So then you'd kind of have to make AI go backwards and say, hey, wait, I need this, 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 and this, and this. And it might be able to produce it, but I think it's going to make it too perfect. So it's one of the problems with, we just did a piece too. We did a piece for a New York PD just the other day. And when you took a magnifying glass and you looked down at the coloring, it was really pretty. When you took it and you looked at it, you could tell the way it made the color was to make a 3/4 circle and stop. And then it would loop over the next one just a little bit. But when you looked at it, they were all perfectly in line. You were like, no, there's no human did this, man.
Yeah.
So have you used AI art at all yourself, Cam?
Sorry?
Have you used AI yourself at all?
Oh, I used it because someone was like, oh yeah, check this out. So I put in like Robot Girl or something and I saw it and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Like it does do pretty cool stuff, but that's really it. It's like a little toy. And this was like last year when it was just kind of like whatever, but I've never used it in like a serious manner. No need to really.
I use it actually for a couple of different things. It's the other day it got a little sassy though and decided it was going to estimate numbers for me, which I wasn't paying attention either. So we get our numbers every day, and so I set it up on a computer where I draw my numbers from. So I go to pull them the other day, and it's running this little happy ass off. So it gives me this list of numbers. I'm like, well, these look pretty close. Then I didn't realize it was chat GDP. It wasn't the actual servers we pull our numbers off. Oh, Michelle almost killed me. It was but it was trying to figure out. I got it trying to give us I wanted to give me a 1-year estimate on what our shows are doing and where they're heading by doing daily number comparison because it gets a copy. But it thinks it's smarter than what it is sometimes, so I don't think it's going to work real good. And it does answering phones and stuff like that for me. Hi, hello, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm your sexy goddess. Would you like to talk? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
And with that, welcome, Patrick.
Great to be here, guys.
How you doing, Patrick?
Goddesses. Okay, here we go.
Oh man, how you been, Patrick? Life treat you okay?
It's been good. Just the AI chat. I couldn't help but coming into an AI chat. And as a teacher, we're pretty much doing all our writing assignments in class now. It's pretty tough to get around the AI. So the kids are just passing paper all the way through, and we can be sure they're doing what they're doing. Even then, I would get an occasional essay coming in. I had them do a few essays. This was a couple of years ago. They had this essay. It would come in, and there were all these quotes. And the quotes didn't exist. And there's so many things that AI will do. It'll cut all these corners. It will dream things that you don't realize.
It does.
A lot of people, they're playing with fire if they just have AI do all this stuff for them.
AI is programmed to be authoritative, not truthful. Authoritative.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Well, I just got it working on a little series for me right now. I decided I would edit it. Well, actually, what I did is I was doing a series for another group where I was the narrator. So I said, okay, we're going to do this, but we're going to let you do everything but the narrating it's done. I hate to say it, it's done a pretty damn good job. Now, what bothers me about this is I can probably sell this, but normally it would have took about 50 people to make this, and this thing made it roughly. It made a whole season in roughly about 35 minutes. That's insanity. I don't know how we're gonna have to come up with a way to market. It's gonna have to be built into built into it so we know that it's AI. Because if not, it's gonna start putting too many people out of work. I mean, there's too many AI actors now, is what they call themselves. AI actors, really?
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I put in this is a couple weeks. I did a press release. I wrote it and I said, okay. Because I always go through Grammarly to make sure I didn't miss something stupid. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna go through Grok and said, okay, edit this using AP style, Associated Press. So it came out with it. It was awesome. It just changed the quote, from people I was quoting. It just changed it to make it sound more authoritative. It's like, wow, it has no sense of right or wrong. It's got its program.
You ought to see it redid Van Gogh's Starry Night, and I hate to say it looks better.
Well, then don't say that, because I will disagree with you.
You're never going to be able to sell it, but mind you, because it's Starry Night. But still,
Man,
what it did is it enhanced the colors, and one of Van Gogh's biggest thing is his colors. So I was surprised that it could actually enhance the colors, or maybe it just restored the colors to probably what they originally looked like. How many ever hundreds of years ago was when he lived? I don't know. It's very interesting stuff, though. It bothers me. John knows. The day I learned about AI, I called his ass on the telephone and was all over his butt. Like, what are we doing about this? Like, I got anything to do with this? This drove me crazy because I knew this was going to be a problem for all kind of people.
Yeah, when we changed the rules, there was one person that squeaked through before we really knew about it. And so the only plus by this one person 2 years ago was that we now have new rules for the contest that expressly forbids AI art.
It's
and using AI also in writing stories. I mean, storytelling isn't nearly as far along as art is, but it's you can get you can ask it the prompts and stuff, but Writers of the Future and Illustrators of the Future isn't a prompt contest, so I'm not interested in that. So with art,
most of it,
you can ask for, show me your when you have art, you say, okay, give me your earlier incarnations, your earlier layers. And if they can't provide layered files, then it's AI. But if it's a story, the main
just
thing.
Read the middle, you'll know it's AI. I'm sorry.
So
for some reason,
Patrick on AI storytelling.
what's that? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch the question there.
What's your take on that? On like how good it is and what kind of threat it poses?
I saw something on Twitter the other day, and I don't know how real it is because it is Twitter. And there was some alleged book that was out there, and it had the prompt still in it from some author saying, "Hey, could you rewrite this in the style of so-and-so?"
That was a mega flap. That was a mega flap with the publisher too.
Yeah,
as well as the author.
And I think
that was true.
Wow. Oh. I mean, I suppose if you're talented enough and you have a particular style, you can get away with it. And sadly, there's a bunch of people who will eat it up if you pretend that it's real. I think a lot of people, if they know it's AI, they won't want that. I mean, just speaking personally, I don't want AI art because it's not real. It's not a human being.
Real.
There's no connection to the other person. Have I probably already read AI stories out there and didn't realize it? Maybe I was taken advantage of. That kind of irks me to think about that. I don't know the solution though. But
maybe if they're really, really short, you might have read one. But I notice anything more than, say, 50 pages, 100 pages, it when it gets in the middle, it like loses itself. It basically becomes jibber jabber, and then it comes back out and finishes the story. So that hasn't quite really manifested. But I noticed, anything really short, 10 pages or less, it's really good. It's really good at what it does.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many paragraphs here and there have been radically
A lot.
altered through AI, and we don't know it. That's what concerns me. And again, as a teacher, I see stuff that comes in, and I think, that I can't prove it. I don't know. So I just say, okay, kids, pen and paper in class. I know you can't do that for the contest. That would be quite something to videotape yourself writing your story. But even video gamers, people on Twitch and YouTube, that's been a thing for years. They were using this thing called aimbot and other hacks where they could see through walls. And now a lot of them have cameras set up actually watching their keyboard and their mouses playing. And it's a thing that's going through a lot of entertainment now. Is this actually real? Can you prove that you've actually done it versus somebody else? I've seen a few of the artists for Writers of the Future. They were showing some time-lapse videos of them drawing the thing. I don't know how to do that as a writer. I guess you're right that after a while, a long enough story, you get these artifacts, you get these weird flaws in it. But what to do going forward, it's troublesome for sure.
I mean, you can definitely tell. I mean, part of it is I know that potentially it's going to stay in their work. If an AI is part of creating it, it's got to have a stamp on it that says this is AI generated.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
But I don't know, Cam, are you able to tell AI art from real art?
Oh yeah, no, usually. But if I get tricked or like duped, it's like, oh okay, oh well.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Yeah.
You take out your block and shoot them?
No. There's I do remember, because there are some artists that like try to draw like AI. A lot of artists kind of thrive off of like, yeah, I could draw, so I could render so well that I thought AI did it, that kind of thing. But AI composition feels different too. But again, if we keep nitpicking on like differences between human and AI art, I feel like the gap will just get smaller and smaller and smaller, So I think that we should really focus on like policy and the usage and copyright of AI, that kind of thing. Because AI will get to a point where it's like pitch perfect to humanity. So I'd rather I want to build the gates and, get the system going to where we can kind of prohibit it or try to not stop the use of it entirely, but I'd like some laws put down in terms of its usage.
Yeah,
I agree with that 100%. They're gonna have to do something, but AI is the great equalizer for I call it art for idiots, because you just type in and there it is, and it's not so much for stories yet, but for other stuff like what I'm doing for these TV series things, it can do the whole thing and it can do it quickly. And it's amazing me. The graphics are pretty good. The reason I got all into this is because Jeff Weiner came on the show one day. He said, "Look, let me show you how fast this is." I still use this banner he made me, by the way. He made this banner on AI in all of about 6 seconds. I was stunned. I was like, "Get the hell out of here!" Lots of color in it, big UFO in it. I mean, it's 6 seconds. I was like, "Okay," that's what made me call John. I was like, man, this is not working for me. At least for me, it's different. I like oil. So when they say, "Well, I did this," I said, "Well, can you do this in oil?" When they tell me no, I say, "Well, I'm not interested. Thank you very much." But that's me. I am a big fan of oil. Down here, oil's big and pastels are big. So those kind of things might be a little bit harder for the AI, but you give it time. I mean, right now they're using it to build houses. So stick some mud in and let it go.
Just going back to you go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you, Patrick. So now, since winning the contest, like Cam talked about, he's like crazy busy with lots of projects coming his way to do with books and illustration and all that kind of stuff like that. And I realize you're teaching, but is it now summer break has now begun?
We're a little bit later in Canada. I know sometimes in the States they go off in June, but we go right until the end of June, and then we have July, August off.
Got it. So have you been able to have time to write, or is that going to be when summer starts?
I've had some time to write. It hasn't been the full-on bender that I've done before, where something thousands and thousands of words every few days. But I've got this novel that I've written, multiple times now, and I was at 130 something thousand words, and everyone told me it's too big. It's too big. So I've successfully cut it down to about 105, which I think is actually marketable. So
Good.
I'm just about polishing that up, getting the last couple of chapters I have to iron out, and then off in the query trenches again. So I'll be getting that going. And
Is it science fiction or fantasy?
This one's fantasy. There's a little bit of space magic in there, a full disclosure to everyone, but just straight up fantasy. It's oh boy, let me see if I remember, because I've looked at so many subgenres now. Character-driven epic fantasy. I think I have that right. That could change tomorrow as I find more, but I'm excited about it.
Well, that's great.
That sounds fun.
It'll be
It's always nice if something good and fun out there.
Well, as soon as you get that puppy sold and get ready to launch it, let us know. We'll talk about
I
that.
heard there's going to be a company in England's going to be offering to make audiobooks for people for 5% of the book sales. I was a friend of mine sent it to me yesterday. I was like, really? I said, well, I know a lot of authors. I'll spread it around, but 5% could be cheap, but also could be expensive depending on what the price of the book is and how many book sells.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher, yeah, Patrick, Cam, you got a website?
Yes, I do. camcollins.us.
Okay. Patrick, you got a website?
I do. It's patrickmacphee.com. What I'm doing now is I'm doing a weekly blog series on my time at Writers of the Future. I've realized that I'm not going to be able to do it in one blog entry. I was really trying to encapsulate this life-changing experience in one entry. Can't do it. So I've got a series that I've just started, and week to week I'll be adding a little bit to it over the next few months.
Be sure to send that link to us so we can share it on all of our social pages.
Awesome. Will do.
Yeah.
It's because websites, a friend of mine the other day, oh, websites are dead. I said, no, they're not. And he said, yeah. I said, no, they're not.
They're definitely not.
That's crazy to say.
I said, I was like, websites are not dead. I said, a lot of us like to have our own websites. And don't get me wrong, I got Facebook and Instagram and Telegram, you name it. If it's out there and it's social media, I'm on it. But I like my own website. I got to be honest with you. I actually got two. I got one for the station and one for my own personal misbehaving.
Yeah, no, everyone should have their own website, even if it's just like HTML. I highly recommend having one. You need to.
You should.
It's like you're keeping the web space like the biodiversity.
Yes,
of the web.
No, I agree. It's not hard to get a website up these days. People, hell, one page you can get for free most places.
Yeah,
I mean, you're getting crazy. You might pay. It depends on what you're doing. You $20, $10. I mean, GoDaddy will give anybody a decent website for like $12 or $14. It's mine. I don't. Okay, people, we have 26 websites with all the station business and iCar business and other stuff. So it's a little different for me, and they're all done through homestead.com if y'all want to know who we shop with. We used to have some with Google, but I mean, not with Google, with GoDaddy, but we keep our domains at GoDaddy and our websites at Homestead. There you go. They're not expensive, no. Not for the way I do it, anyway. Jackie Russ Morrison, what kind of weird name is that? And where are you from? Rust Belt, what? That doesn't tell me anything. There's 3 states in Rust Belt. Give me a state. Wisconsin. What do you got for us? Oh, okay. Well, he's actually aiming this at you, Patrick. He wanted to know what got you started writing, and what made you think you could win Writers of the Future. So that's a little bit arrogant. Hey, that's not me. That come from him, man. Oh, wow. Lord. People say anything these days. I swear. Go ahead. I'm going to shut up.
Sure. Well, I was reading so much stuff when I was young, and my mother got me into reading, and she gave me all this fantasy. I read Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring when I was very, very young, and I was so young that I had that childlike play, imaginative overlay on it. So it took me a good month to get to Rivendell with Sam and Frodo, because I was reading it and I'd just be daydreaming for a while, look at the maps, glancing through them. And I just got hooked on speculative fiction. And years went by. I read more and more. Wheel of Time, Terry Goodkind, just anything I can get my hands on. And eventually, I guess it was just this critical mass. I can't point to any one moment, but one too many snowflakes fell on the snow pile and it shifted. And now I thought, maybe I can do this. Sure. And I was 18 years old and very arrogant. I was an arrogant young man. And I roughed out. I roughed out a 5-part fantasy series because, of course, right? And I had that in there, and it's funny because over, oh my goodness, too many years, 27 years now, goodness, that book was eventually done, and I ended up writing it. Writers of the Future sent a few stories in, had some initial success. I was a semifinalist my first time entering. Contest coordinator said it was almost a finalist. So I thought, oh, okay, this is good. I can do this. Nice. Next one was a semifinalist as well. Then life got busy. Came back to it later. And I submitted the prologue to my novel as a third quarter. And I thought, this is one of the best things I've ever written. This is awesome. I'm going to hand this in. It's going to be a finalist right away. I was very proud of it. And it was rejected immediately because well, it wasn't a complete story. I guess a prologue to a novel is more like a teaser trailer, and that's not quite the complete story that Writers of the Future was. You want people to pick up a story, beginning, middle, end. I followed this character. Oh, okay, all right. Prologue wasn't really like that. And I just thought, oh, harumph. I can't believe it. A big blow to the ego. You talk about ego in writing. That was the opposite to that. And after a couple of days, I picked myself up and I realized there were so many resources out there. Writers of the Future Workshop. I just went through that. Free online resource, top to bottom. And I wrote this new story from scratch. And my goal wasn't to win. My goal was just to place, get my mojo back, so to speak. And I guess this just freedom to write. I just wrote this fun story that it has a cool message by it as well. But my goal was to just give people something that 20 or 30 minutes, they can read that, have some fun with, and walk away smiling and maybe learning something about themselves if they want. And then I got the phone call, you won. So here I am. That's can't explain it.
They need to pay Joni more, man. I'm telling you what. She's got the best job and the worst job on.
She loves it.
I know she does. She's something else, man.
But what's cool, if people don't realize, so the story that Cam illustrated is the story that Patrick wrote. So these guys are buds for life now.
We're connected.
Yeah.
You're connected to hip now because of this contest.
Yes, Karma. That's how Karma usually sets it up. Oh, I know. Well, y'all got to meet Carmen last week, people. Yes, I was going to say y'all never met him, but y'all actually got to meet him last week. Yeah, he was up here, Oh, man, there's a picture of me with Carmen and Fred Smith. I look like I'm this tall. Because both these guys are like 6'2", 6'4".
Carmen's tall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so is Fred. They're both just monsterly tall. I'm like, man, what is this picture about? Denise, what's that? What do you mean? Well, yeah, imagine if you wanted a piece of artwork from Cam, just write him go to his website, camcollins.com, and hang out and commission him. That's how you do art. You commission somebody.
You give him your credit card right now. I'll close my ears, and he'll send it to you.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Wait,
let's not right now.
Wait, do you want my email? I can give them my email.
There may be close to 3 million people listening right now. It's not giving out no credit card. What's that, Reese? No, Cam and Patrick are both winners of writers. This year's Writers of the Future. And Cam did the art for Patrick's story.
Now, Cam, do you have a way for people to reach to you on your website?
Yes, my email should be on my website. So
okay, so go to camcollins.com, right?
I think it's
.us. Camcollins.us.
I thought it was Cam Sexy Man US.
No, that's a different one of those cam sites. One of those.
That's a different cam site.
Yeah, a different cam site.
No, he's really a good-looking guy. So I just giving him hell.
Thank you.
No, it's what do you mean, Frank? No. Anyway, well, that's for a different show, but no, we don't talk about that kind of stuff on this show. No, get out of here with that. I'm going to bounce you right out of my messenger, like boop. You better watch yourself. No, we talk about authors and illustrators on this show. Yes. Matter of fact, so there's a show before this one that's about illustration. Yes. This woman, she's some strange. I think she's an alien actually, but she's actually no, she's actually the coordinating judge for Writers of the Future. Her name is Echo Chernick, and she is a fabulous artist. And she's tough though. It's one of the things I like about her. Her and DeSantis are both tough. It's one of the things I like of that they will tell you what they think and how to fix it. It's something I like about both of them. They don't just criticize without giving you a way to fix it. That's key in anything. I'll get customers sometimes that'll criticize us and say, well, how are we going to fix it then? Oh, well, I don't know. That's what I'm paying you for. I'm like, right. You don't want to tell. Why don't you go somewhere else and leave me alone?
Particular judge, whether they were on Zoom or in person, that you were most impressed with or that most impacted you?
Oh, for me, oh my God, I like see, I feel like I forgot his name. His name started with an I, and his last name was
Rodriguez.
Yes, perfect. Irvin Rodriguez was easily my favorite. Just so human, so simple. Just showed his paintings, and when people asked him, like, "Oh my God, how'd you do that? Like, what's your process?" He just said, "Oh, I mean, I just paint it." Like, he doesn't know, like, what else? I don't know what else to tell you.
It was funny after the hour-long after his thing there. Then everybody, because I went to set up having a lunch with him or a dinner with him, and then everybody started lining it behind me, and just to see him some more. He was like such a he's such a nice person. I so like him.
It's always good.
Tom Wood was also
Enterprise winner like 15 years or so.
Wait, ago. who was the one that had him in the studio doing all the weird stuff?
Well, the studio we had that was with Rob Pryor.
Okay, that's who it was. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, he seemed to go over really well too.
Rob's really intense. So,
yeah, he's
cool. I like him.
Yes, he's insane from what everybody was saying, but still we love him anyway. No, Chris Echo's the coordinating judge. She's definitely the coordinating judge. Yes, that's what she does. Hold on one second, I'm checking on something.
So anyway, then what about yourself, Patrick? Was there any particular judge that for you was like major influence?
I think both Tim Powers and Jody Lynn Nye. I go back and forth between them because they're often there together, and they're like my writing mom and dad now. They have so much wisdom, and they would play off of each other really well. And Jody Lynn Nye would even say things like, when you smile, you're going to think you look stupid, and you do, but smile anyway. And these little quips that she has all the time. And Tim Powers would say, there's this moment where you're going to have your character going through a pit of snakes, and they don't want to do that, but you need to make sure you get them into that pit of snakes. And I'm okay, all right. And just these little clips all the way through. And even reviewing my notes recently, I have something like 80 or 90 pages of notes. I was just scribbling away. I think I went through a whole pen.
Oh, they're great.
Gave me this nice pen, and I just ran it into nothingness by the end of it. There's so much wisdom in there, and I'm still unpacking it. But
I always enjoy listening to them. I also liked it when they had Todd and what's his name? Wesley. Dean Wesley. Yeah, because them two not only played off each other real well, but they like to argue with each other. it was really good. They definitely, though, made sure that they were showing everybody there's two sides, and you can do it this way or you can do it that way. Both sides work. I love that. So
that's the thing. No one was saying, okay, you have to do it this way or that way. It was very much, here are some tools for you. Have a look at this, review everything, proverbially pick it up, play around with it. Okay, and someone else is going to come in and show you something different, and you decide. And it was just a smorgasbord of writing ideas that, again, I'm still processing. I'm sure everyone else still is. But
so how'd you do in a 24-hour story? Like it took you an hour or so to write it, or?
Right after they started, I had this little package, and I opened it up. It looked like AirPod packages, and I picked it up, and there were these little individually wrapped candies, and some
Oh,
of them
shit.
had Chinese or Japanese, I think Korean lettering on them. And I had this brainstorm. There's this cyberpunk world, and inside the candies, there's actually this code. So you eat the candy, and the code goes into your implants, and it gets you high and doing all this stuff. So it's like a street drug in this cyberpunk world. And I had a working title called Candy from Strangers. And that's what I went into it with. And then right when they said go, oh, and I had my talking with a stranger already. That's part of the other part of the 24-hour story. You talk with a stranger, you have your item, and you kind of smush them together, Dragon Ball Z fusion style, and see what happens. And mine went really well because I was talking with this cab driver, and he shared a few stories of people that had been in his cab. So long story short, they said go, and I was just typing in the Galaxy Press place for, it must have been 2 or 3 hours, and I got about 6,000 or 7,000 words of just notes, because Tim Powers had told me, think with your fingers. When you're thinking about a story, keep asking yourself why. Even things like, what kind of shirt is your character wearing? How long have they been wearing that shirt? When did they last have dinner? All kinds of little things that I kept asking these questions. And then Jody Lynn Nye would say after that, and don't necessarily stop with a good idea. Because if you get tunnel vision on a good idea, you could be missing a whole horizon of other ideas that you never got to because you stopped at that one thing that was good enough. So following that simple logic, I was there for 2 or 3 hours just hammering out all these ideas. Finally, my brain was kind of short-circuiting a little bit. I don't know if people could smell the smoke there, but I figured I have to pack this up. Went back to the hotel. My wife, Mandy, fantastic, because she was getting me coffee. I think I went through at least a dozen Earl Grey cups until about 2 or 3 in the morning, because I took these notes and then I organized them into scenes. And once I had my scenes, each scene, I would just write out the scene, take a little break, have another cup of tea, go one after the other. And it was 2 or 3 in the morning. I think I was nodding off to sleep while typing, which was a very strange experience, because I think some of it I was technically unconscious when I was writing a few lines of it. I would just kind of wake up and, oh, that's interesting. I'll keep that. All right, that's cool. And ended up with this 11,000 word story about there's a man who has they're living in a 15-minute city in the near future, and they're outside of their particular zone, and his son gets involved in crime, and the police want the son to go in as this operative, but the son's probably going to get killed doing that, being an informant. So the father says, I actually know a lot about crime. I'm actually this big crime boss, and I left the life. So the father goes in to take his son's place, and he's doing all this cloak and dagger illegal stuff in this cyberpunk world. And he's really just trying to save his son and get out of there and survive. And it's, of course, extremely rough because I wrote it in 24 hours, but the basic shell of a story is there. And I've never written anything like cyberpunk before. I really my one goal was not to copy the cyberpunk video game, to make sure I have my own thing. I think I did it. And I'll take that. And now I have a potential novel. If I want to do that, just spread that out. And that's all thanks to that activity. I didn't think I could do it. And wouldn't you know, 11,000 words.
That's great.
Not bad.
That's great, man. That's shit. You must have been channeling Elrond or something, man. 11,000. That's good, cruising along, man.
New keyboard suit.
Everything that you do with your artists, you do the live drawing. You have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, where you do these different sessions. How did that go for you?
Oh, Cam? I don't think Cam heard us.
Oh, yeah. Wait, sorry. I was writing something.
Yeah. So with the illustrators, you had the live drawing sessions where you had the models posing, and you did 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and 20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, those are good. I also like that they're clothes too. I love clothes people a lot. Clothes are just really nice and cool. So I enjoyed the whole steampunk theme as well. The timing was good. I was trained. Oh God, when I say the word trained, it makes it sound like it was really intense, but no. When I was in middle school, we did 10-second gesture drawings, 30-second, 1 minute, going up from seconds. So I was pretty used to that process of just going right for it. It's fun,
Yeah. The other thing too, which I've gotten over the years as a highlight, is the portfolio reviews from the judges. How was that for you?
Yeah, okay. So I thought it was pretty all right. I liked talking to all of them. I had a book I made. I had a lot of my original canvas drawings as well, my iPad colored pieces. Going to each one's, a lot of them really didn't seem to know what to really uh, say about it, but that's fine. I was kind of asking like where could they see my artwork, in public or outside in the world, and a lot of them seemed to kind of land on, oh well, it seems really unique, really different. I don't know if it could be commercial, it could be yada yada, it could be like prints, things like that. So that's fair assessment. I wish I could do stuff like Magic the Gathering cards and things. I showed excitement for that because that seems really cool to do, but a lot of them seem to kind of point towards and say, that doesn't look conventional enough for that. So
Yeah.
look
I
for.
mean, they got so many people
others.
trying to do the Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons and that type of stuff.
Mm.
That there's a definite look about those cards.
Yeah.
But I know that Heather Ann and Jordan were definitely like all king. Jordan was saying, "You got my ideal job," when she was talking to Irvin Rodriguez.
Yeah, no, for sure, right. And I think a lot of the artists, or pretty much every other illustrator, kind of had that style down. They were very into like the nice traditional fantasy and sci-fi style. Very smooth, very painterly.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of stood out as a black sheep a tiny bit, in terms of illustration style, which that's a curse and a blessing, I guess.
Yeah, but that's also like for your stuff too. I think graphic novels, but I also think individual commission stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like commission work. I always have. Well, I mean, commission work doesn't matter it can be for authors or illustrators, right? I mean, you can be commissioned to write a book, commissioned to write that. Matter of fact, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. I won't say that word, but he keeps aggravating me. He said, you can't drink like 5 books in your head. I said, he said, you just need to get a ghostwriter and just have them written. What they want, the one they want me to write is about the research we did over the last 40 years. I'm like, man, that's a lot of work for whoever does that, including myself. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll take it they don't want me to take it to the grave. That's the problem. That's what the real problem is. And I won't put it on audio, so it's making them crazy. But I mean, that's a way to do it. Commission work, get out there, give me some money up front.
Yeah.
Let me do my thing. Give me some money in the middle. Let me do my thing. And here's the job. Give me my check.
Which is what like some of the winners, when I talked to them, they said that's how they survived through the pandemic when they couldn't go to the conventions, because they already had their clientele they had built up from beforehand, that people were still writing to them, and they would be able to sell more work to them, even though they weren't able to go out.
We mean, Chris, I don't think it matters if people are male or female when it comes to books or art. I mean, maybe the style of book or the art, but I don't think it matters in buying it. No,
not anymore. It used to be. We had one of our original illustrator judges way back when, who wrote fantasy, and she was like, she was amazing. Of course, I just went blank on her name as I'm saying this right now, but she was writing in a man's world as writer. This was in the 50s, and so I'm just opening up the page right now, and so her name was Andre Norton, and she picked Andre. That was a pen name. She picked Andre because it could be a man's name or a woman's name, and so she did that. So people didn't know that Andre was a she, and she's one of the most successful fantasy authors out there. That's what got me my first love of fantasy writing, was her Witch World series. I read that a couple times. Amazing, but that's no longer a scene because of the internet. And just like right now, you take a look at our judges. I'm going through them. At the beginning, they were the first batch of judges were all men, and then the second year we brought on board Anne McCaffrey. She gave them all such a piece of her mind that she was the first woman, and she wasn't invited the first year. But she was one of the first judges there in the second year. And then C.L. Moore, she was one of the famous pulp fiction writers. But now there's, we have Chris Rush, and we have Nadia Corfor and Jody Nye and Rebecca Mesta, Catherine Kurtz, Nancy Kress, Nina Creaky Hoffman. So we definitely have more, and I'm keeping my eyeballs out and just following careers. I followed Nettie for like 10 years before I finally asked her to become a judge. I'll just watch people and keep up with them. The one you were talking about, when I invited Irvin Rodriguez to become a judge, I've been tracking with him for like 13, 14 years, and finally said he would like to be a judge. So some of these people they were winners in the contest, because we're over 40 years old now. So there's a lot of amazing talent out there that I wanted to bring. I'm looking forward to bringing into the judging poll and having them there. So anyway, it's definitely evolving now, so that it's more of a balance.
It does seem to be getting better. What are you talking about, Jack? Oh, you mean for Patrick? You can't just go write for Doctor Who, my friend. Look, I wish somebody would start writing for him, but I'm sort of a fan these days. Anyway, that's for another show too, but I'd like to see some new writing for Doctor Who. Yes, I would. There's several series I would have liked to have seen some new writing for. Indoor would have been one of them. I'd like to have seen some new writing for that. Or was that Obi-Wan Kenobi that we could use a little writing for that? You know what? Most of these people I've met at these conferences or these contests could have been writing much better than what we've been getting. That's just sad. I know, huh? That's sad. I'm ready for some good sci-fi. I'm telling you, people. Sci-fi, damn it. I'm sorry.
Well, read volume 40 and then 41. Right now you can read this great story, but it's amazing author named Patrick MacPhee.
Yes. See the book? There's a book. Oh, there's a book right there.
30 minutes or it's a paradox. That's just a fun story, and it's
Kurt, that's not an excuse. You can get it in the audiobook. Sorry, John.
Yeah, so when a pizza delivery guy meets his time-traveling future selves, he must juggle conspiracies, collapsing timelines, and cooling pizzas. It's very stressful.
It's very stressful.
I like to say it's like a tornado in a phone booth.
Yeah.
Go. You can purchase it. You can purchase it anywhere, guys. It doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, and then we're doing a bunch of stuff in 2 weeks. So the book releases in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. So we're doing a whole thing to gear up for that as well.
Jeffrey,
Nice.
I would prefer that you bought it from galaxypress.com, because it just lets me know that people are listening to the damn show. But if you Barnes and Nobles, Books and Millions, I imagine anywhere you can get a book, you can find it at. While I'm on that, so recently I've been in a lot of bookstores, and even some older bookstores in the city. And so far, I have not met anybody that did not know who y'all were. So I was in Barnes & Noble just a couple of days ago, and I actually wasn't in for a book. I was actually in for coffee, ladies and gentlemen. I stopped to get a cup of coffee because there's a coffee shop, really good one inside of Barnes & Noble. So I was talking to the lady, the manager, while I was there, and she's like, I said, you ever heard of, thank you, baby. I said, you ever heard of Writers of the Futures, the awards? And I said, the contest. And she said, oh, yeah. She said, I know people have submitted. I'm like, really? And we got to talk, and we sat down, and she bought me lunch. Which she didn't have to do, but that was very sweet of her. And but just about every bookstore that I was in, I was actually looking for a piece of art down in the city. I was down in the French Quarter, and I walked in this old bookstore, probably older than all four of us put together. And we were talking, and I said, "You ever heard of Writers of the Future?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "I've probably submitted at least 3 times." I'm like, "What?" It's just weird, but nowhere I've been hasn't. And even with the illustrators, this puts you in perspective. So I'm out. I like to harass the people who paint on the street. They paint in front of the cathedral, and they usually do portraits and stuff like that. And they make a lot of money doing it. I mean, the cheapest portrait you can get painted out there is $500. But they get much more expensive than that. But they do them, whatever time you're sitting out in front live. So I was talking to a bunch of them, and I'm sitting there because there was nothing going on, and what was his name, Raymond Kaufman. We got to talking. He said, "Why are you so curious about this?" I said, "Oh, I go visit Writers and Illustrators of the Future when they had the award ceremony the last couple of years." Oh, really? You know them people? Can you get me in? I'm like, what do you mean, can I get you? He said, well, I just want to submit. And I said, writersofthefuture.com, man. That's where you go submit. And then he pulls it up on his phone. We're going through it on his phone. 4 or 5 others walk up. We're all looking at it. And I'm like, Writers of the Future. They all knew who you were. All of them knew who the contest was. None of them had submitted, but I was awesome, man. I said, you two probably pro'd out at $5,000 a picture at that. I said, I don't think they're going to let you in. I said, with the rest of you guys, because there'll be 20, 30 artists out there some days. They all seem to be talented because they're all making money.
Yeah.
Most of them painting pictures of the city. If they're not doing portraits, they're doing like, cityscape stuff like that. Or the mules. They like to paint the mules a lot for some reason.
Well, we had volume 39. We had Jose Sanchez and Chris Arias here, our first winners from Costa Rica. And what was interesting is when Jose went to get his visa, he went there to meet with the customs agent and showed the letter he got from Joni inviting him. And she said, "You want Illustrators of the Future? Oh my gosh." And just immediately stamped his visa because she knew what it was and how prestigious it was. And then when Chris went back after the awards event and the whole thing, he went back and he had they made a documentary from him. He had several front page articles saying that he won the Oscar for science fiction in Hollywood. They were just so totally admired as the artists. They're great artists, but it launched major careers for these guys here in Costa Rica. So that's one thing that because now, like I said, we're now in year 42, and I'll be doing a lot more to promote the fact that this year that we finally broke 1,000 winners. So after over 4 decades of people that L. Ron Hubbard's contest is actually acknowledged and who have won, which is pretty impressive, I think, at least, and so we're looking forward to making a big deal out of that.
I wonder how many books and pieces of art they have collectively together. That would be interesting to find out.
I think it's over 60 million pieces of printed work, and then 600 book covers, 700 book covers, something like that.
That's insane. That's insane. Well, people, that's a lot of stuff to be reading. And I told you just a few minutes ago, you can get book 41 and book 40 and an audiobook. Yes, you can go purchase an audiobook right now.
Yeah.
Yes. No, you can download it.
Earlier this week from Audiophile magazine about for Rise of York volume 41 audiobook. They just gave us a really nice review. And I'm expecting one still coming in from Library Journal, but no, that was really good. So we continue to get great reviews.
The book was good. All of, it should being that all the people we met this year were, so outgoing, and I think this book's going to do well. A lot of people out there talking about it. A lot of happy people who were there, and I think when you get the overall feel of what happened at the winners at the gala, I mean, it looks like it makes everybody it makes you want to go read the book or look at the artwork because everybody was just so open and outgoing. And when people hear the interviews, they're like, wow, I want to go read their story. I want to go see their artwork. Yes, Jennifer, it makes a difference in the way people's emotions come across. Yes. It's how the media works, my friend. I didn't make it that way. Trust me. But that's how it works. And people expect to see emotions from people, especially people who won and have done big things. Well, I'm waiting to see what Patrick's writing. This just 100,000 words. I can't wait to find out what this is. And I mean, I'm telling you, that's big. I mean, people, that's Battlefield Earth kind of big there, man. That's getting big. What's that, Jimmy Lee? Well, whenever he publishes, I'm sure we'll find out about it. We'll let you know. How's that? Yes. Well, are you going to publish it traditionally? Are you going to go a different way, indie or?
I'm going for traditional, so I'll do the whole query thing. I'll approach agents and editors, and if I have to do something after that, we'll see. I'm sorry, was that for Cam? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that with self-publishing, it's I mean, how good are you at promoting yourself? You know, because I have trouble with that. So
it's tough. It's really tough selling myself because you're arrogant because you think other people are gonna see your art. There's a certain arrogance there, but I think I'm actually more humble than average. I just here it is. Go look
You're
at
Canadian,
it.
so of course you are.
Oh my god!
Yes.
So,
yes, it's
so
Toronto.
TikTok is always a good place to start. You can usually pick up 5 or 10,000.
You can bump into somebody and they'll apologize.
I don't know. Canada's been getting a little cranky lately, man. Them Canadians been getting a little cranky lately. I don't know.
Drive like maniacs. The car doesn't count apparently. So
I've been watching I've been having to catch up on all y'all's news. So I've been watching that crazy CBC. Oh my god, them people are crazy on that network.
No, I've been watching the hockey games. The Oilers versus the Panthers.
See, that's fun. That's fun to watch. It's okay, I didn't even see that go by on my screen. That was a little on the weird side. But I can't wait. So traditional, because I know it takes a little longer to get them published traditional. I mean, besides finding.
Then you have another year after that, at least. Sometimes a year
yeah. So that's what I was figuring. It's hey, but that just means it's gonna be worth reading. Christopher, you writersofthefuture.com. Yes, if you want to submit, writersofthefuture.com. Galaxypress.com if you want to buy a book. Like I said, you can get the books anywhere, but if you're going to look for Elrond stuff, writersofthefuture.com is the best place. Galaxypress.com is the best place to go.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah, he's all of his bunch of his works. It's all in nonfiction. All the fiction stuff.
All the fictions at Galaxy Press and any nonfictions at Bridge Publications.
Yeah. Yes, go find out, enjoy yourself. There's a lot to learn about the guy. He's a kind of interesting person. Yes. I don't know none of that. You'd have to go find that out on your own. We don't talk about that here. So you have to go find that out on your own. Just one of them things. No, we're getting ready to go in a few minutes. Any real questions out there in the real world before we go? I know y'all Pal Talk people just came back on yesterday, so it's a little weird seeing y'all on the side screen. But they both. Well, we'll take this question right here. So Curtis just wants to know, Curtis, where are you from, by the way? Oh, Miami. Well, hi down there in the second hottest place on earth. He just basically wants to know for both of y'all, are y'all going to be being seen anywhere in the near future where he can find you? I guess is what he's looking for.
Goodness.
Yeah.
You want to take that?
Yeah. I can answer. I'll be at Chicago Alternative Comics Festival in Chicago in about late June 28th to June 29th. That's like a weekend-long comics fair, so I'll be part of that.
That sounds fun.
It's awesome. I did it last year. I loved it. Let's see. But other than that, I usually self-publish and post. I'm actually working on a Patreon right now, so when I make that, I'm definitely going to send that to you guys, so you can spread it if you like.
Don't forget about TikTok. TikTok is still the fastest growing crazy place on earth. And I know a lot of people sell a lot of stuff over there. I know a lot of people make a lot of money over there just chit chat. They don't do anything else but chit chat. I got a friend. All he does is show what he does during the day. He does it 4 hours a day. Last month he made $10,000. Yes, I said, damn, I might have to start doing this, man. I haven't had time, and that's the sad part. I'm preaching to y'all, but we actually have 3 TikTok feeds, but we've been too busy growing other feeds to go take care of those. But we'll eventually get to those too. But social media is a good way to sell stuff. Facebook's always good to sell stuff. Instagram, it's always good to sell stuff on. They're all good markets. They all got a couple 100 million people on them. So
yeah.
And the other facts about them is Facebook and Instagram and a few others you can cheat on and X. they have small advertising packages for like 20 and 50 and $100 that can get you out to 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 people. Bam. And that many people get to see your work right off the bat. After you've done that a few times, a lot of them people sign up as friends. You end up having 30, 40, 50,000 friends. And a lot of times they'll be the first ones to buy your work. And then there's always Kickstarter, but you got to have the people on there first. So
Yeah, that's risky.
So what about you, Patrick? Are you going to be anywhere that people can find you?
I'm going to be at a local bookstore on August 9th. I'll be signing Writers of the Future issue 41 with Mark Leslie of the Fape. That's at the Coles Indigo at Lime Ridge Mall here in Hamilton. We'll have more details there, but that's a Saturday.
And we'll be posting that also as it gets closer. We'll be posting that on writersofthefuture.com.
Very nice. Very nice. And I'll be doing his podcast as well. I'm not sure when exactly that'll be published, but that'll be out there as well. So definitely looking forward to more events. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, he usually does his pretty quickly, if I remember right. What's that, Christopher? I don't sign autographs. Sorry, dude. I charge for signing autographs, so don't ask. I do. It's the truth. No, I'm just kidding you. If you catch me anywhere, and I am lecturing this year, I have 31 lectures coming up the rest of this year, and I will be back in DC for my third time coming up soon. So, but unfortunately for most people, you're not going to get to, unless you're at the event or invited to some of the closed, because some of these events are closed events. You won't get to see me. Yes, because a lot of times it's get off the airplane, get to the event, hang out for a couple of days at the hotel, finish the event, go back to the plane and leave. So yes, if you're not at the event, it's some of it's politics, some of it's ufology. Just depends which way I'm at. Yes, for the ufology, I'm bringing John. He's gonna be the sacrificial abductee this year. No, I'm just teasing you. Be sure y'all keep up with these two guys. They're doing a lot of good stuff out there. Cam's really a talented artist, and Patrick, come on, 100,000 words. The guy wrote 11,000 words in like 6 hours. Come on. I mean, geez and Pete. I would have been like, what? You want me to do what in 24 hours? I quit. I'm going home.
It was fun. It was terrifying, but fun.
Yeah.
He's the Canadian poster boy for Rise of the Future these days. He's got so much media, so much great media, both on podcasts and on blogs and on magazines and on newspapers. He's just
before I let you go, have you contacted the big three in Canada? They would love you. They would love to pick someone up like you. See, that's a problem with not having an agent, but usually you can write in and say, hey, I just won this big award from Writers of the Future. A lot of times they'll give you, or not just that, the old style newspaper people will do it too, even though they're online now, because they have cub reporters who do stories like these. That's the first time I ever got on a newspaper was because of a cub reporter. But so they'll get you on, usually on like the living section or something like that. But a lot of times the news feeds will give you, it's not a lot of time, but it's like a minute or two, but it's still you on that screen going out to how many ever people are watching that news segment or that living segment. A lot of times it's a living segment. But if I was you, I would just look around at a couple of the different places in your town or around, because a lot of times the local news will pick you up first, and then the national news will pick you up.
Yeah, that's what
I've used it myself several times.
Yeah, Carmen sent out pitches, and he's been continuing to do that. I mean, you're still getting media, Patrick. And, yeah. So we're just like, he's gotten more probably than anybody right now.
Yeah, Karma's a beast. I got to give the man credit. I don't give him enough credit for what he does for me either. He does a lot of work for me.
Well, a few months ago, I couldn't do it. The most I've done video was just teaching during the lockdowns for my students.
Yeah.
But to be
here, a lot
at
of people have that problem.
Yeah.
Just talking, being comfortable on the mic. A few months ago, I remember the first. It was this one. It was back in March or so, and I was like pacing around, and I don't know what's going.
Yes, well, I'm very nice, guys. I'm not going to give you a hard time. And you know what? The very first time,
let him finish his sentence.
Well, let me tell him. The very first time anybody asked me to be on television, I gave him the bird finger. So you're already nicer than I am. I'm serious. I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. That's not going to ever happen. And then when I was asked to do radio, I looked at the guy like he was on crack or something. I'm like, you want me to do what? I can't do radio. I've never done radio. What is wrong with you? That was 26 years ago, though. So, it just tells you how it. I have faith in both of y'all. You both have a lot of talent, and usually talented people can work it out. But if you ever need help with media, or if you ever just want, y'all got my number or my email. Just write me and let me know. I don't mind helping out any kind of one. Just for this guy because I like him. He's cute and stuff. And they still ain't got past. I said I was having breakfast with him. That just went. That was just too much. Oh man, that was too much. Anyway, I know we got to get out of here. Any parting words before we go? Cam, Patrick, any?
You
go ahead, Cam.
Okay, no, sorry. Yeah, my website is camcollins.us. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we finally connected up and got it figured out.
And my website is patrickmacphee.com. I'll be doing that weekly series of blog posts on writers of the future. And this has been an awesome whirlwind, and it's still going. It's totally life-changing. Thank you all very much.
That's great
Like
stuff.
I can't wait to see your book on TV in a couple of years or on big screen, man. I'll be all happy. I know that guy. I can hear it now. Oh man. It's no, really. I really figure in the 6 years or the 6 groups I've been with them the 5 years, I really figure I'm going to see some of y'all on television. I'm going to see some of y'all in these big art galleries posting your stuff. I know I'm going to see Cam out there. Cam be all like, "Let me dress sexy for this one, baby." It's he'll be looking good. But anyway, guys, we got to get out of here. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and the Author's Quill. Of course, as I say every week, any moans, groans, bitches, or complaints, please write to Michelle DeRoche, courtesy of John Goodwin. On that note, good night. We'll see you later.